Well, I mean, here's the thing. The first thing is it going to be another one, the Fable things where you play a hero and beat up a bad guy? Do you start as a kid, go through childhood, power up, level up as a hero, and then, get to face the bad guy in the end? That was Fable 1 and Fable 2. The thing is, if we're going to do a Fable 3, we might as well make a huge step forward. So there is this massive fundamental change to some of the foundation stones of what you think the gameplay is. And I challenge anybody out there to guess what this fundamental change is going to be, because we're not going to say anything yet. So that's one side of it, changing the gameplay. The other side of it is the story. It's so often I've played games that, you have a sequel of, and the story's kind of the same again. There's another baddie, and, you kind of feel like yawning before you even start. So in Fable 3, how can we change that? How can we make something which is going to be really, really exciting? Well, what we do is the first thing that we do is ask who you are, and who you represent, and what you will do. And so many games I've played, you play through the game, you kind of defeat the baddie, and you should be made king or queen, but the game credits come up and it's the end of the game. Half of what Fable 3 is the journey to become king. You start as the son or daughter from your hero in Fable 2. We will read your Fable 2 save game. You start as an adult son or daughter of the hero. Your first real job is to be a rebel. Just like anything from Shake Up Vara, you're going to be that sort of rebel. You're going to be like Abraham Lincoln. You're going to be like Robespierre. Or you're going to be like, any of the rebels which you like to count. What sort of rebel you're going to be? Are you going to unite the people behind you? Are you going to get the factions behind you and then lead that rebellion and that coup and then overthrow that tyrant king? Well, here's the interesting thing. While you're doing that, you're going to see some terrible things in the land of Albion. You're going to see things that you're going to say to yourself, well, when I am king or queen, definitely I'm going to get rid of poverty or slavery, or I'm going to eradicate, suffering all over. And then you are going to be crowned, and then the game will change pace. It's your choice. What sort of king are you going to be? Are you going to be the similar king that Picard is, the captain of the Starship Enterprise, where every single away mission he's on there? I mean, he should be out his bridge, for God's sake. He's the captain. He can't be teleporting down to planets and shooting phasers. That's what sort of king you be? Are you going to lead from the front? Are you going to be like Elizabeth I, who when she faced the battle, when she faced the Armada, she was out there in her suit of armor leading her troops? Is that what sort of king you're going to be? Or are you going to lock yourself away? Because we're going to allow you to choose. We're not going to dictate that. All we do when you get crowned is we give you one more game mechanic which you didn't really have access to before, and it's called judgments. And it's the ability to judge people and situations, and those judgments will end up changing the course of people's lives, end up changing whole regions, end up changing the whole country, and you end up laying down the laws of what your land is. And, I said in Fable 1 and Fable 2, you're as unique as the way you play. Well, now your kingdom is as unique as the way you play. So don't think that we're going to change the gameplay. We're just going to give you more options when you become ruler, and we're going to introduce this new gameplay mechanic. But you'll still be able to fight. You'll still be able to do all the things that you could do in the first half, and you may have to rely upon that in the second half, but you just got more choices, that's all.
Then there is this whole idea of touch you mentioned, connected to expressions from the old Fable. That obviously reminds me of the thing I'm not allowed to talk about.
Yeah, I want to be clear about what touch is. The reason I was talking in the press briefing is a little bit cheeky of me to talk in the press briefing, because I did promise to show these things to the press when I was talking about them, so I shouldn't really I have got a demonstration of touch which I could have showed you, but I'm just not allowed to at the moment. I want to make this clear. I wasn't directly referring to any Natal stuff. This wasn't an announcement about Natal.
Because it sounds very...
It does sound very, but But I think the real unveiling of what touch is and how you touch and what touching means should come later on. So my PR buddies were right. See, I'll give them credit where credit's due.
Yet again, I'm pondering about that God game, because I know from all the games I played, you made, and all the projects, that there's a very, very extremely high goal you set for yourself. Don't you think this one isn't just another one that might end up being a little too big?
I mean, yeah, you're right to call me on this. I do set my sights extremely high, and I think I tried to give myself some really strong rules about, only talking about things that when I'm able to show them. I talked about touch and judgments, but I can show you them. I'm just not allowed to by the PR people, which kind of tempers my enthusiasm. And one of the things you've got to remember, and maybe this shouldn't be on camera, but you're not talking to a PR person, man. You're talking to the creator. I mean, I can't help getting excited. It's my nature, man. I just cannot help it, And today, this is about like my 10th or 15th interview. I'm still incredibly excited. This is an amazing thing I do. And, trying to box me down is, it's a hard thing for me to get excited about it. I mean, I think what we're doing on Fable 3 is, we're trying to make it great. I mean, there's no point in doing this stuff unless you try and make it great. And that's why we're doing things like staging. And that's why we're looking at this stuff like expressions and saying, we just shouldn't do it just for the sake of doing it again, because that doesn't move us forward. It doesn't try to make a great game. And that's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah. Thank you.